Independent artists today face a monumental challenge, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. It's tough out there.
You need that pro sound, the kind that stands up next to major releases.
Right. And you need reach, getting your music heard everywhere.
Plus finding people to collaborate with, talented people.
And building your own identity, your brand, so you actually stand out.
And doing all of that, usually on a tiny budget,
Yeah.
No big label backing, no industry strings to pull.
Yeah, the landscape just keeps changing. You need to be adaptable. You need good tools.
But affordable tools, that's the key.
Exactly. Technology and community, they're really reshaping those old paths to success.
They really are. And that shifting landscape, that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. We're looking at a platform designed specifically to tackle these challenges.
Right, with a real focus on certain genres.
Yeah, a sharp focus on hip-hop, trap, R&B, and, that whole world of urban music. The platform's called BeatsToRapOn.
And we've got a good amount of info here on it, details on the features, the tools, kind of the thinking behind it all.
Yeah.
And it really looks like they're aiming to be more than just, say, a beat store. It seems like a whole ecosystem.
A whole ecosystem. That's a good way to put it. So our mission today, let's peel back the layers. Let's really understand what this thing offers.
Okay.
We'll look at the beats naturally, but also these AI tools they're pushing.
The AI stuff looks pretty central.
And how it helps with community, identity, basically how it fits into the independent scene in, 2025.
And what it means for you listening, right? Whether you're making music, producing, or just following the culture.
Exactly. What does it mean for you? I'm honestly really curious to unpack this stuff. Could be genuinely game-changing.
Well, it's definitely an interesting mix. You've got the tech advancements meeting that kind of grassroots artist empowerment.
Yeah.
Which is a potent mix in today's music world.
Okay, let's get into it then. Beats to rap on. Where do we start? What's the absolute core, the foundation?
Well, at its heart, according to everything we're seeing, it's built around beats, a huge library of them.
Okay.
High quality and crucially royalty-free beats.
Royalty-free, always important.
And specifically curated,
Huh.
mainly instrumentals for rap, trap, hip-hop, Afrobeat, those kinds of artists.
So the beat is the starting point, the canvas. Can you give us a feel for the library itself, like the variety, the quality they're claiming?
Sure. They definitely seem to be going deep into specific sounds. You've got the main categories: rap, trap, hip-hop, Afrobeat, R&B, reggae, general instrumentals, samples too.
Right.
But then they break it down further, like they mentioned boom bap. Classic. Good for storytelling.
Okay, the old school vibe.
Yeah. And then trap, obviously. High energy, the booming 808s, crisp hi-hats. They even mention artists like Travis Scott, Future, Migos as sort of touchstones for that sound.
Good current sounds, too.
Definitely. And lo-fi. Mellow, nostalgic, laid back. Good for introspection.
Yeah, lo-fi's huge.
And they even have an experimental category for stuff that pushes the envelope a bit.
Okay, so a pretty wide range within that urban music umbrella. What about quality? Everyone says high quality. What do they mean?
They're pretty specific, actually. They say the beats are professionally crafted.
Meaning?
Meaning they're presented as like full instrumentals, not just basic loops, produced with care, attention to detail, and importantly, they supposedly come with industry standard mixing and mastering already done.
Ah, okay. So ready to go.
That's the idea, ready for vocals. You shouldn't need to do a ton of extra production work on the beat itself.
Gotcha. Professional quality, genre-focused variety. How easy is it for an artist to actually, get these beats and use them?
Accessibility seems like a big thing for them. You can browse the library, pick what you like, download it instantly, no waiting around.
Simple enough.
But the really big piece accessibility-wise is probably the licensing.
Ah, yeah, the royalty-free part we mentioned. That trips up so many indie artists.
Exactly. They stress that the licensing is flexible, covers personal use, commercial use, all under one royalty-free license.
It's huge.
Yeah, they literally say, and I'm quoting here, use our beats anywhere, forever, without worrying about extra fees or claims.
Oh, okay.
They even have a line about no copyright lawyers lurking in the shadows.
Huh. Like that.
For an independent artist, man, that's liberating. Using a beat on Spotify, YouTube, maybe even a small commercial gig, and not having to worry about legal stuff popping up later, that's massive value.
It really is. It's like digital crate picking, but the samples are all cleared up front.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that clarity on licensing is huge.
Stepping back a bit, why is picking the right beat so fundamental for, say, a rapper or an R&B singer.
Well, the sources talk about the beat not just as backing music, but as a
Direction
co-creator.
creator. Interesting.
Think of it like the canvas, right? It sets the whole mood, the energy, the rhythm that the lyrics play against. It's the foundation for the story, the emotion.
That connection between the flow, the words, and the music.
Yeah.
It's symbiotic. Whether you're doing high-energy trap or something really introspective and lo-fi, the beat's not just there. It's actively shaping the whole track.
It got to click, right?
Exactly. When the beat and the vocals lock in, they elevate each other. That's the magic.
Okay, so the beat is often the starting point on this platform. But it sounds like BeatsToRapOn goes way beyond just providing the instrumentals.
Oh, yeah.
They make a really big deal about their AI tools.
The AI integration is definitely a core theme. It pops up everywhere.
This is where it gets really interesting, I think. They claim some serious AI power for, like, refining the sound. Let's start with Valkyrie AI mastering. Bold claims there. What's the deal?
Valkyrie, yeah. This is the grand title. World's first fully autonomous agentic expert in AI audio mastering.
Wow, okay. Bit of a mouthful.
Yeah. But the gist is, it's not just some generic mastering AI. It's supposedly built and trained specifically for the sounds of rap, hip-hop, trap, R&B, Afrobeats, reggae.
Genres with specific needs, right? Like heavy bass, clear vocals.
Exactly. Stuff a generic tool might mess up.
Okay, let's unpack that title. Autonomous works by itself. Agentic. Sounds complicated. We'll come back to that. First, practically speaking, what does Valkyrie actually do for your track?
Okay, the main goal is to give you a streaming-optimized, studio-grade master.
Crucial for Spotify, Apple Music, etc.
Right. You need your track to sound good and meet the technical specs everywhere. Valkyrie outputs high-quality formats like 24-bit WAV or MP3, and it makes sure your track hits the industry loudness standards LUFS.
Ah, the LUFS target, so your track isn't way quieter or louder than everything else.
Exactly. That's essential. They also highlight this mil-spectrogram feedback feature.
Mil-spectrogram. Sounds technical.
It is a bit, but think of it like a visual map of your sound. It shows frequencies over time. Valkyrie gives you this visual comparison between your original mix and the master.
Oh, okay.
They call it See Your Sound. So you can actually visualize how the AI changed the frequencies, the dynamics.
That visual feedback actually sounds super helpful, especially if you're not an audio engineer but want to understand what happened.
Right. And the sources mention this detailed process, like 27 steps or something.
Yeah, the Valkyrie 27-step AI precision process sounds intense.
It does. They frame it as being meticulous, an obsession with perfection. But probably best not to think of it as 27 separate plugins. It's more like a really granular sequence of analysis and processing the AI goes through.
Okay, so what's the general flow?
Well, it starts with prepping the file, then this deep AI analysis. It listens to understand the track's character genre, instruments, dynamics, using neural networks and something they call AI agent swarms to dissect the sonic DNA.
AI agent swarms. There's that agent idea again.
After analysis, it applies stuff like adaptive EQ adjusting frequencies dynamically, multi-band compression for precise dynamic control across different ranges,
Right.
saturation for warmth or character, stereo enhancement for width and depth, parallel compression to add body and loudness without squashing it.
Standard mastering techniques, but applied by AI.
Exactly. Then it does the loudness normalization for those LUFS targets, brick wall limiting to maximize volume safely, prevents clipping, and then final quality checks.
Quite a chain. Makes sense. Mastering is complex. Okay, back to agentic SI and these swarms. You said Valkyrie uses this. What does it actually mean? Why is it a big deal?
Yeah, I sort of spent some time on this. It's kind of a newer AI concept. So instead of a single program running fixed steps, agentic AI is more like a team of specialized AI agents.
Like virtual engineers, each knowing one thing really well.
Kind of, yeah. But all AI. So maybe one agent is an expert on low end for trap, another on vocal clarity for R&B, another on stereo imaging.
Okay.
And the agentic orchestration part means they don't just run one after another. They communicate, collaborate dynamically, agent to agent, they call it, based on your specific track.
Ah, so it adapts the process.
Exactly. It's more like experts having a conference call about your song, tailoring their approach, rather than a fixed assembly line. That's what supposedly makes it more nuanced, more context-aware, more intelligent.
Right, compared to a simpler AI just applying the same recipe every time.
Precisely. And they also say Valkyrie isn't static. It uses self-learning, reinforcement learning, inspired by things like AlphaVolve. It's constantly trying to refine its own mastering techniques based on results, getting better over time automatically.
And that self-improvement part is wild.
Yeah.
So, okay, AI mastering. Fast, potentially cheaper, consistent. How does the source explicitly compare Valkyrie to a human engineer?
They lay it up pretty clearly. Speed. Valkyrie's basically instant under 5 minutes. Humans, 1 to 3 days, typically.
Big difference.
Cost. Valkyrie has free previews or basic masters for members, then small fees or plans for high res. Humans, $50 to $200 plus per track.
Another big difference.
Consistency. AI is machine accurate, trained on these genres. Humans. Well, quality can vary a lot depending on the engineer, their gear, even their mood. Genre awareness. Valkyrie is optimized for urban music. Humans. Depends entirely on their experience with those styles.
Makes sense.
And feedback. Valkyrie gives you those real-time Mel spectrograms. Humans typically don't provide that kind of detailed visual comparison.
Okay, so the pitch is efficiency, cost, and a different kind of transparency with the visuals. Mastering gets your track finished, but what about taking tracks apart for remixing, sampling?
Right, creative deconstruction. That brings us to another big AI tool. The AI audio stem splitter. They also call it Aurora.
Aurora. Okay. What does it do?
It uses AI to isolate the core parts of a track, vocals, drums, bass, piano, guitar, other stuff, into separate high-quality WAV files, stems.
Whoa. Okay, that opens up tons of possibilities. What are the main uses they see for this?
They list quite a few. Create and karaoke tracks, obviously pull out the vocals.
Yep.
DJs and remixers needing acapellas, instrumentals, or drum loops.
Essential.
Producers wanting clean samples of specific instruments or vocals without other sounds bleeding in.
Huge for sampling.
And just generally, giving artists massive creative control to remix, rearrange, or just analyze tracks by having access to the individual parts.
Is this Aurora stem splitter also using that agentic AI thing?
It is, yeah. Same branding, world's first fully autonomous AI vocal remover and AI audio stem splitter, using agentic AI frameworks, MCP, A2A, and that proprietary Evolve framework again.
So it's also learning and improving itself.
That's the claim. Applying reinforcement learning to get better and better at separating stems cleanly over time.
Okay, technically, without getting too deep, how does it work? They mention specific models.
Right, let's simplify.
Yeah.
They mention using models based on DEMX. DEMX is like a leading family of AIs designed for music source separation.
Yeah.
BeatsToRapOn says they've advanced on standard DEMX using like an ensemble, combining and refining multiple versions.
So the core separation tech, what else?
On top of that, they use advanced post-production, again with an AI agentic swarm.
The cleanup crew.
Basically, yeah. Crucial for getting usable stems. Doing things like tonal cleanup, making isolated sounds natural, temporal alignment, making sure stems line up perfectly, spectral enhancement, plus specific noise suppression tools.
So it's not just splitting, it's cleaning up the results.
Exactly. The goal is clean, professional-sounding stems, minimizing weird artifacts or bleed.
Makes sense. What options do you get? How many stems?
You've got choices. A 4-stem option gives you drums, bass, vocals, and then other for everything else combined.
Okay, standard split.
Or, for more detail, a 6-stem option that pulls out piano and guitar into their own stems as well. So 6 tracks total.
That's pretty granular.
Oh.
Awesome for producers.
Yeah.
How easy is it to use this? Is it free? Subscription?
They have different tiers. Pretty accessible, actually. You can get 1 free split every 24 hours pro or studio quality, no account needed even, though there's a 4 MB file size limit for the free one.
1 freebie a day. Not bad.
Yeah. Then paid options. A one-shot pack is like $5 for 5 splits, bigger file limit, 100 MB, faster processing. A pro subscription, 15-month, gets you unlimited splits, 100 millib limit, the 4-stem option, fast queue, and storage for up to 100 tracks in their stems.
Unlimited splits is nice.
And the top one, Studio Pro 20-month, is also unlimited splits, but a 200 millib file limit. You get the 6-stem option plus 4-stem, fast queue, unlimited storage, and get this specialized AI mastering per stem before it splits.
Whoa, mastering the individual stems. That's wild.
Right. And the output is always lossless WAV, 44.1 kilohertz, 16-bit, standard high quality. They also advise using good quality source files and tracks with clear separation for best results and using the preview feature.
Okay, so options for different needs. Being able to just grab the drums, bass, or vocals from any track.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a game changer for creativity.
Totally.
Beyond splitting tracks, what about just understanding them? Like the basic musical info.
Yep, another AI tool for that, the song key and BPM finder. You upload a file, it tells you the key, the tempo, BPM, the Camelot key, and even stuff like energy, danceability, and happiness or mood.
Okay, let's break those down. BPM is speed, easy enough. Key and Camelot, why are those useful?
Key is the musical key, like C major or A minor. The tool figures this out by analyzing frequencies, the tonal center, using signal processing, math models, machine learning. Camelot refers to the Camelot wheel system, super popular with DJs and producers for harmonic mixing. It maps out keys visually, major keys on the outside, relative minors inside.
Right. Helps you find keys that mix well together.
Exactly. Moving one step around the wheel or side to side between major minor usually gives you compatible keys. Avoids clashing sounds in mixes or mashups, makes things sound smooth.
Super practical for mixing. Then these other ones, energy, danceability, happiness. How does AI measure something like happiness?
Yeah, it sounds subjective, but it's based on analyzing audio features. Energy looks at intensity, tempo, loudness, rhythmic complexity, gives a score, categorizes it low, medium, high. Helps you figure out if a track is chill or driving, useful for playlists or DJ set pacing. Danceability analyzes rhythm, tempo, beat strength. Scores, how suitable it is for dancing. Not very, moderately, highly danceable.
Makes sense.
Happiness, or mood, uses a calculated valence score. Think of valence as musical brightness or darkness. The AI combines energy and key info. Major keys tend to feel happier, minor more somber, to categorize the mood. Sad, neutral, happy.
Wow. So it's trying to quantify the emotional feel.
Pretty much. Helps you pick tracks that fit the vibe you're going for.
That's surprisingly deep analysis, not just numbers, but context about the track's impact. What's the tech behind this?
They mention leveraging research from places like the Music Technology Group at UPF in Barcelona, big name in music tech research, plus other AML methods. Uses signal processing for objective stuff like key BPM, and AML trained on tons of audio for the sentiment metrics like energy and mood. It looks at low-level audio data spectral, harmonic, transient features, and also harmonic analysis like chord progressions.
So a mix of pure audio math and AI learning. How accurate is it?
They claim highly accurate, tested against tools like Mixed In Key and Serato DJ, saying it's comparable to commercial software. And they mention privacy files are processed on the fly, not stored.
Gotcha. Having that info, BPM, key, Camelot, mood. Yeah, that's valuable for producers, DJs, anyone really trying to understand a track technically. Okay, let's pivot a bit. We've talked sound creation, sound analysis, but the platform seems focused on more than just the technical side, helping artists with identity, connection.
That's right. Because being indie isn't just about the music file. It's your brand, your network, your audience. And they seem to have tools for that side too.
Right. So shifting gears, identity. They have a rap name generator. That sounds potentially controversial.
It is interesting, and yeah, they seem aware of the potential reaction. It's an AI tool to help artists brainstorm a rap name or nickname instantly.
Okay.
The idea is to help find something unique that reflects their style, helps them stand out.
How's it work?
Yeah.
And what makes a good name, according to them?
Simple interface, apparently. Input some preferences, keywords about your style, click generate. It spits out names using words, slang, cultural references. For picking one, they suggest it should reflect your persona, be simple, be original, avoid cliches, and importantly, test it out. Say it loud, see how it feels.
Okay, practical tips.
Yeah.
But the AI part.
Right. They actually include a section addressing the cultural debate, like, is this goofy or real? Does an AI-generated name cheapen the culture compared to names from personal history, nicknames?
That's good they address it. It's a valid question about authenticity.
Totally. They don't ignore it. They respect the tradition, but argue that in today's world, virality, online presence, maybe an AI generator can be an unusual gateway for fresh blood.
A gateway?
Yeah. They frame it like it could be seen different ways. Funny, tech taking over, generational clash, or just a new tool to spark an idea from digital nothingness. They claim theirs is the best, naturally, but the artist has to check if the name's actually available.
Right, trademark checks and all that.
Exactly. Their final point seems to be, it's a starting point. Your authenticity comes from you, your music, not the name's origin. It's a punchline and a stepping stone, as they put it.
A punchline and a stepping stone. Okay, that's a pretty balanced take. Acknowledging the awkwardness, but arguing for its utility now. A creative spark, not the whole definition.
Right.
So speaking of finding your place,
yeah,
community seems huge on this platform too.
Absolutely. The Creators Network is a big feature. They call it a raw global network for hip-hop, trap, R&B innovators.
Raw network. Sounds gritty.
Yeah, the whole vibe is about artists not working in a vacuum, forging alliances, sparking collaborations, connecting with the underground scene.
So what can artists actually do in this network?
The goals are summed up as connect, chat, grow. It's a hub to find collaborators. Other artists, producers, DJs, writers, A&R, labels, videographers, the list is long. There's instant chat for direct communication, exchanging ideas, getting quick feedback, building those connections. And they stress it's free to join, no gatekeepers, no limits, giving artists total creative sovereignty.
Sounds good. How does it work structurally?
Huh.
Profiles.
Yeah, the core is the artist profile, or Artist 360. It's your digital home base, your resume, you create a public profile, showcase your work. You can define up to 3 main roles you play: rapper, producer, DJ, whatever.
Right.
And importantly, these profiles are SEO optimized and part of the sitemap, so Google and other search engines can find them. Increases your visibility outside the platform itself.
That's smart, making you discoverable on the wider web.
Yeah.
How do you show your work on the profile?
Several ways. Upload tracks or beats directly for people to stream or download. Embed up to 8 YouTube videos, music videos, interviews, behind-the-scenes stuff.
Give a fuller picture.
Exactly. And add music smart links for up to 4 key songs. Those links that send fans to Spotify, Apple Music, wherever they listen.
Okay, so the profile is a showcase hub. How does it help you actually connect with others there?
Well, besides browsing the network, the profile itself has connection points. The instant chat for direct messages. Social sharing buttons to push your profile out across 12 platforms.
Easy sharing.
They have an artist QR code feature you can design and print for physical promo. Scan it, boom, your profile.
Clever for gigs or flyers.
Yeah. A Buy Me a Coffee link for fan support. And crucially for work, get contacted and hired buttons. Turns your profile into a live digital resume for projects or gigs.
Okay, that really does sound like a full toolkit for presence, showcasing, and connecting. Once you're set up, how do you track how things are going, get feedback?
They provide an analytics member dashboard for that. Real-time data on engagement and growth.
What kind of data do you get?
You can track marketing campaign performance, see what's driving traffic, monitor audience engagement, likes, streams, downloads in real time, identify trends to optimize your strategy. It shows growth over 6 months, week by week. Tracks clicks on key buttons like share, contact me, hire me.
So you see what's working on your page.
Exactly. And beyond just stats, they have the Boost My Music service. This connects you with actual humans, DJs, curators, industry folks for feedback.
Human feedback,
Yeah.
not just algorithms.
Right. They specifically contrast it with automated systems. The idea is genuine insights, real listener reactions.
That sounds way more valuable. What kind of feedback do you actually get?
People report getting detailed comments on specific parts of their tracks, like, love that breakdown at 1.23, or maybe constructive criticism. You also get metrics like playthrough rates, skip rates, crucial stuff.
Yeah, it tells you if people are actually listening.
Exactly. The sources say feedback might start slow but builds up. And sometimes these connections lead to actual collaboration offers through the chat. Although they do mention some users feel the chat itself could use more features. But the human feedback loop is highlighted as a major plus.
Okay, so data and human interaction. And there's a competitive side too. A leaderboard.
Yep, the monthly top 10 leaderboard. Adds a bit of gamification, upload your tracks, compete for ranking based on performance that month.
How's the ranking calculated?
It's weighted. Downloads are 40%, streams 30%, likes 20%, views 10%. It updates in real time based on the current month using a U.S. West Coast time zone.
Okay.
And there are separate leaderboards for different genres: hip-hop, rap, trap, freestyle rap, Afrobeat, R&B, instrumentals, reggae, samples. So you're competing against similar artists.
That's important. What's the prize for winning? Hitting number 1?
Visibility, mainly. The hashtag one artist in each genre gets featured on the platform's homepage for the whole next month.
Prime real estate.
Yeah, and 2 exclusive blog spotlights, too. So, dedicated promotion. It's positioned as a way to showcase talent, get heard, boost streams, grow your audience, maybe get discovered.
Right. Exposure is currency.
And there's even a separate leaderboard just for 30-second freestyle videos. Another way for lyricists to get seen based on upvotes and shares.
Okay, that competition definitely adds another layer. Looking at everything. The beats, the AI production tools, the identity stuff, community analytics, feedback, leaderboards. It really does feel like they're trying to build a whole world for indie creators in these genres.
That seems to be exactly the vision. They talk about it being a movement, building a creator-built future. The mission statement is basically equip hip-hop, trap, R&B creators with the beats, tools, and stage to claim their territory.
Claim their territory. Okay. So, stepping back, big picture.
Yeah.
What does a platform like this signal for independent artists right now? What's the impact?
Well, it definitely reflects some major trends. One, the democratization of music production, putting powerful tools in everyone's hands.
Right.
Two, the growing role of AI across the whole creative process, mastering, separating stems, maybe even writing, like those other tools hinted at.
Hmm.
And three, the absolute importance for indie artists of community, direct connections, bypassing old gatekeepers. And the specific mix here, royalty-free beats solving licensing issues, powerful AI reducing need for expensive studios or expertise, and a focused community platform for visibility and networking, it feels designed to lower barriers and boost success chances, especially in genres like hip-hop and trap with strong DIY roots.
Giving artists more end-to-end control.
Exactly.
And you mentioned those other hinted at tools, an AI lyrics generator, AI Spotify playlist finder. Even if we don't have details, that suggests the AI integration aims to be even broader.
Yeah, it points towards a future where AI assists across even more steps, from sparking lyrics to finding promotional avenues. It's becoming woven into the entire artist journey.
And that constant emphasis on free access.
Yeah.
Zero cost to join, zero restrictions, shareable song pages with no distractions, no noise. That feels very deliberately aimed at empowering artists without deep pockets.
Definitely. That free tier accessible pricing model seems key to their strategy. Remove hurdles, attract a large, engaged user base, especially in these grassroots-driven genres. Even the premium stuff often has free previews, lowering the barrier to entry. Build the community first.
Okay, so we've covered a lot today. We dug into beats to rap on. The royalty-free beats at its core,
Foundation.
the AI arsenal, Valkyrie mastering, Aurora stem splitting,
It's a power tool.
the interesting rap name generator, the key BPM finder,
Identity and analysis.
and the whole community side, the creator network, Artist 360 profiles, the analytics, leaderboards, that human feedback service.
Connection, growth, visibility. It's a really comprehensive package they're offering, blending AI production with community and promotion, all tailored for these specific genres.
It really is. So here's the final thought to chew on. As independent artists lean more heavily on platforms like this one, platforms driven by AI, built on community, does the future path to mainstream success, to cultural impact, start shifting away from the old record label system and more towards these kinds of integrated, artist-first ecosystems? What part of this whole model strikes you as having the biggest potential impact on how independent music gets made and heard going forward?